All right, tonight on the show, we've got Coy in studio as always. He's going to be talking about recreational uses for toilet paper. We're going to be talking some about Bond movies. We've got a collection of Marion Berry drinks here to try out. And Ryan Lackner from Clutch Kick Radio may or may not be joining us in the second half. This is Boost, Booze, and Barbecue.
You know why we're here. It's time for Boost, Booze, and Barbecue.
And welcome to the show. How are you doing, Coy?
I'm doing good. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I've been listening to some podcasts recently, by the way, and I know this isn't Boost, Booze, and Barbecue related, but it's kind of, it catches me off guard when I'm listening to somebody else's show where, like, they have a really well-produced intro, right? Mm-hmm. And then they start the show with, welcome to the show. It kind of catches me off guard.
Really, my only thing that I do with podcasts now that I've been podcasting is I'm listening and I'm just like, I can hear somebody and they're talking, and then we went down this one trail and I'm like, Mike Discipline! Don't you ever listen to your own podcast? Mouth the mic!
You know what? That's not related to anything we're doing today on the show, so I'll apologize up front bringing that up. But you know who we're going to have on the show later is Ryan Lackner. He's doing a show out of this studio called Clutch Kick Radio. It's for the drift guys.
Yeah, I've actually seen Ryan do a lot of drifting.
Oh, yeah, he's an OG.
Late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Late at night.
We had Chris...
Allegedly on the streets. Allegedly.
You allegedly saw him in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had
closed course under some trestles.
Okay, Coy, that's enough. You're incriminating yourself. We had Chris Egger from Pat's Acres on.
Yeah.
And I like that he calls it Pat's Acres and not Park. I feel like people have stopped kind of calling it Park all of the time. It used to kind of drive me crazy. People were like, oh, it's Park. I don't know why. It just kind of drove me nuts. It's a perfect acronym for it, but, you know, there we go.
I just like now that people admit it's a go-kart track.
Mm-hmm.
People will be like, yeah, we're going to go drift on track. And then all the people that had driven go-karts there before and like paid to race there was like, well, I mean, it's a go-kart track. It's still super cool. Don't get me wrong, but you're not on track. You're on a track. like there's a middle, you know, and then like, dude, it's on track. But like, well, technically, it's a track, but I mean, you know, if you're in a dirt oval, technically that'd be drifting on track too. So I mean, you might want to...
Come on, don't be a spoil sport. Assistant regional manager or assistant to the regional manager. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Paychecks though. Yeah.
Hey dude, you've had the Marion Berry vodka that you brought in a few times. This is the Marion Berry whiskey though. I haven't tried this yet. What do you think of it?
I've tried it. I mean, half a fifth worth.
Oh, and I'm sorry, you guys. It's Oregon Marion Berry Whiskey by Eastside Distilling in Portland, which Eastside Distilling is actually one of our favorites here. We end up getting a lot.
This is actually bottled by them. I don't know that it's actually an Eastside product, but I'm medium on this. It's if you like Marion Berry, I mean, you should try it.
Well, I'm only going to pour you a little bit. That way we can get through it fast.
Yeah, it's decent, but it's not amazing. It's not as good as the vodka. Not even close.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. If a person feels like the vodka is a little bit too sweet, which, to be honest, I'm kind of in that camp. I feel like it's a little too sweet for me. This is an easier drinker.
It is an easy drinker, but it tastes more like whiskey than Marion Berry's, where it's the Portland Potato Company vodka that I've been enjoying lately. Mm-hmm. It's sweet, but it's also very tart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the tartness, yeah.
And I like the tartness. Like most of these types of Marion Berry flavored stuff or berry flavored stuff, I mean, it tastes like they went to Dutch Brothers, got the Marion Berry syrup and just shot that in there 50 times. Mm-hmm. And you get that sticky corn syrupy sweetness, whereas that particular vodka has a real Marion Berry flavor and is real tart. This has a real Marion Berry flavor, but it's a lot more subtle and there's more whiskey flavor.
I don't mind it. Honestly, I think it's pretty good over ice. This is not a bad sipper to me.
No,
it needs a little bit of...
It's decent, but I mean...
It needs some seltzer, a little bit of, something.
I've been drinking it with seltzer, and it's quite good seltzer. But I mean, I'm really stuck on that Portland potato vodka.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really a vodka guy per se, but that particular one got me. So
Sure.
I decided to try this just because I was kind of in that vein of stuff, and it didn't disappoint.
Mhm.
Like, I'm glad I tried it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to buy 10 more bottles, but
Like you did the Portland potato
yeah.
head,
But I mean, once in a while, I'll grab a bottle.
I don't blame you. And you know what? I should have brought a clean glass in because I'm interested in you trying this vodka.
I did actually try this before the show.
Oh, and what'd you think?
That is superb vodka.
It's really good, right?
Here's what I love about it. It tastes like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
like a good vodka should, in my opinion.
It tastes like nothing, but with a hint of sweetness.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't even really have the burn that you would expect.
No.
Like, it's just liquid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just super, super high quality vodka.
Now, is this grain or corn vodka? Or what
Yeah, it's
kind of-
corn.
Corn. Okay, yeah. So there's where your sweetness is coming from.
Yeah, exactly. I love the folks over at Vivacity. They actually purchased Calapooya Brewing. For those that are local who know who Calapooya Brewing is.
Is that in Sweet Home?
No, it's in Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why did I just slow down when I said Calapooya? Why do you do that? Enunciate
It's
like
a
that?
hard word to say. If you say it too fast, Peter Piper.
Calapooya. Yeah. You know the song Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
We should just make a new one about Calapooya. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the pipes to really make that song, but I mean, you might.
Yeah.
Like, I'll back up vocal for you.
Yeah, just come in for the
I'll
low
just
parts.
be in the back like, Calapooya.
Okay.
That's what it's going to sound like. That's funny. Yeah, I don't mind this whiskey at all. I kind of want to get through it so that we can try this Wild Roots. I've had Wild Roots before, and it's always been very good, but I don't think I've ever had the Marionberry.
It's good. I can tell you that right now.
And it's a little hotter, too. It's 35% alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's good.
Even this Marionberry whiskey is just 30%. So whenever you get something that's the higher alcohol content like this, but it doesn't have the burn, it doesn't have the weird off flavors, that's when you know someone's taking a lot of care and they're making a product that's, how should I put this? They're not just making a spirit and then throwing whatever flavor into it. Like, they're actually going out and making a specific product.
Yeah.
Sort of like Marcotte,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. I honestly, we should have started the other end of this row.
Yeah.
Worked our way up, because guessing this bourbon's going to taste something incredible after I have two Marionberry things, and then I just go with a bourbon. But we'll get there. It may I may be biased by that point, but I'll do my best.
It's true. It's true. So, hey, I wanted to start with a little barbecue talk right off the bat. We got our whole hog. It was 180 pounds and filled our freezer pretty good, not all the way. So we're talking about what else we want to get to fill it up. But one thing that the butcher did for me was tomahawk pork chops.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I didn't specify, so this isn't their fault. They Frenched the tips of the bone. So the bones are clean all the way down to the chop, which I actually, that's not what I wanted, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a ton of meat on that, but I like the flavor of the meat on that.
See, I think I would have actually went ahead and had it cleaned.
Really?
I just want to use it as a handle.
Yeah, fair.
I just want to go caveman.
Well, you can still use it as a handle. You just got to clean it first,
Yeah. No, I want to clean. Like, I want to just grab that thing and just go straight to the chop.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
interesting. Yeah.
Like, there is certain cuts of meat that are just caveman. I mean, like a turkey drumstick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to eat a turkey drumstick is just smash it into your face and start chewing. Like, you don't get out a knife and fork. Like, you go nuts.
Yeah. Well, there's too much sinew in the turkey leg is the thing. Like, you've got all of the little it's not muscles, it's tendons and stuff that's in there. And so if you're trying to knife and fork through it, you're going to end up with those bits anyways. And now you got to pull them out of your mouth. Whereas if you're eating it caveman style, you're kind of like, you find a bit of that tendon and you kind of get your teeth on it and you get the meat off of it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. You got to work through that gristle.
Yes,
you
thank
roll
you.
that
Exactly.
around. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
you got to be able
always-
to take a bite, kind of chew on it, and get a chunk
Exactly.
out.
I always prefer my own turkey legs, though, because of the new process we're using, Coy, the injecting rather than marinating. I'm sold 100%.
100%, huh?
Yep. It is the way to go.
See, I like to dip mine in like peanut oil that's like 400 degrees. So I like to do my turkey legs. So, I mean, technically it is a brine for, 8.5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
I brine
you're
it
brining it in oil.
in peanut
400
oil.
degrees,
Yeah. That's how I do mine. But
I don't know how injecting it would react to that because that's a lot of liquid that would come out of it.
yeah, that's it's a lot of water that I'm guessing. It could be crazy.
Well, but I'll tell you what, dude, the flavor is undeniable. Undeniable. I want to buy another, but you're not a turkey fan anyways.
I'm not a huge turkey fan, but I will go crazy on a turkey leg every once in a while.
Because it's the dark meat.
If you smoke it up good, a smoked turkey leg, like you ever been like State Fair and they have like the so good.
Mm-hmm. The wings, I also fall on the wings. Like that's one of my favorite things.
I'm not a big wing guy.
Oh, I've been cooking chicken wings here a lot.
No, I like chicken wings. Turkey wings, I'm not.
Oh, you're not big on
No, I mean, we're talking about buffalo wings and hell yeah. Like, no. Roll the tape back. I am in like Flynn. But, I mean, if you're carving up a turkey out of the wings, whoever wants it.
I was thinking about this the other day, man. The Scotch egg. It's a great thing. I love a good Scotch egg, but I feel like it's time for it to be elevated. And I was thinking about how a person could do that. You know, you've got your egg, your base egg, and if you're not going to do anything with the hard-boiled egg, what can you do with the rest of it, right?
The white.
Well, so a Scotch egg is a hard-boiled egg, or soft-boiled, some people do, and you cover it in a sausage of your choosing, and then you roll it in breadcrumbs, then you deep fry it, right? That's a Scotch egg. It's like a one meal in several bites.
Other people may have heard them called an armadillo egg. It's another name those go by.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They kind of, and some people call them armadillo bombs. There's a bunch of different names for those, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So here's my thought. You take your hard boiled egg and you know what? Let's just make it a duck egg because everything's better with the duck egg, right?
Yeah.
You roll that bad boy around in finely powdered hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you take your sausage mix. And I'm thinking that the sausage mix is going to have, the ranch seasoning packets.
Yeah.
Mixed into the meat. And then formed around that. And then instead of breadcrumbs, Cool Ranch Doritos.
Wow. That's going to be an explosion of flavor.
That's what I'm talking about. Hit me up if you're tuning in right now.
Hang on
what do you think?
My phone's going off.
Uh-oh. What's happening?
It's Guy Fieri. He wants to talk to you later.
Oh, no. Oh, my beard's turning blonde. What's happening to me? No, the frosted tips, they're coming out. No. Where'd these sunglasses come from?
This is awesome. I mean, that's not...
I'm moving into Flavor Town.
No, I like where you're going there.
Well, what do you think? What are your thoughts offhand?
It's the opposite direction I expected you to go. Like, I feel like you're going to be like, look, we're going to get a organic maple sausage. Then I'm going to get some barbecued Pringles. I'm going to crush those up. You know what I mean? You went like fucking, you went Baja Blast, like Mountain Dew.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like, you're going to eat this at a skate park while getting more air on your skateboard than the X Games.
Well, that's the part that I left out. So the egg, I actually pickled the egg in Baja Blast Mountain Dew. Yeah.
Then you fire it from a potato gun into somebody's mouth while they're snowboarding down a half pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, the flavor. And like, then all of a sudden they're doing a lot better snowboarding. Like their clothes get cool. They were all drab. Now they're violently neon colored.
Yeah. All of a sudden they look like they're a giant Solo cup just going down the hill.
You're like, oh, my liver, so much cancer.
Hey, die young, make a pretty corpse, right?
Yeah. The candle that burns twice as bright, you know?
Last half as long, baby.
That's right. Burns twice as fast.
Oh, man. We're getting way off track here, dude.
Good.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Bond cars, and I'll tell you why. We've been watching a lot of Bond recently. So the Bond I grew up with was Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, that's my Bond.
That's my favorite. Something you'll notice, though, if you go back and watch them right now is GoldenEye, even though that's a great movie, they left a lot of the traditional Bond-isms behind. But then the ones that come after that, they pull that Bond stuff back up. The weird, almost invincible enemy. The car gadgets, just all of that. It all comes back. And they did the same thing with. Why am I losing his name? I almost said Craig Ferguson. That's not it. Who's the
Craig Daniels? Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Thank you. We've been drinking a little bit. All right, it's not my fault. They did the same thing. So in Casino Royale, I didn't actually like that movie when it came out because it was a far cry from where I thought Bond movies should be. But as we've continued to watch the other ones, like we just finished Spectre, and that felt like a full-on Bond flick.
Yeah, that same thing. I grew up with Pierce Brosnan, and it's like, so that's kind of what I expect Bond to be. Like he's a more British, more classy dude, whereas Daniel Craig is like Terminator,
right?
So that's like if you just set the movie, like Daniel Craig, it's all action. He just, he's jumping, he's running, he's doing cooler stunts and stuff. But in my mind, like the gadgets and stuff, while they're obviously 90s gadgets, I prefer Pierce Brosnan movies. In the Ice Castle, like I can't even remember which one that was. Which is the Bond movie where they have like the ice castle in Iceland? What's the name of that one?
Is that Die Another Day? It's one of the Pierce Brosnan ones.
Yeah. There's a bunch of ladies getting poured in motor oil in the first opening sequence.
Yeah, I want to say that's Die Another Day because Madonna did that song.
That feels like Die Another. Yeah, it feels right.
Speaking of songs, in Spectre, the song that they did had nothing to do. They never mentioned Spectre once in it. That was a little bit weird to me.
And the other part that's weird about the new ones is like the opening sequence, the music and the crazy shapes and stuff was kind of like a big part of the movie. And the new ones kind of do that, but they kind of do it. They don't do it quite like I would think it should be done. Yes.
And also, they're following a storyline. Like you have to watch Casino Royale to understand exactly what's happening in all of the other movies. Like if you skip one of them, you're not really going to pick it up. And that actually led me to kind of, it's a decision that I've made. People are going to disagree with me, I'm sure, but I feel like it's more important to watch your actors' Bond movies in sequence than it is the Bond movies in time sequence. Because, like, these new Bond movies, nothing is lost because I didn't watch the Bond movies from the 60s.
Oh, yeah, no. No, it's like watching Batman movies. Obviously, if you go watch early 90s Batman movies and then you watch Christian Bale, the George Clooney ones hold nothing to the, so just watch the set that you're
I don't need to watch Val Kilmer's nipples to know what's going on with the new ones. Yeah,
you don't need to know what, I totally agree.
Oh, yeah. Producer Nick is on the ball. He's got a couple of these Bond cars pulled up for us. Ooh.
So, and I will say this, and I still hold true to this. When they were talking about doing the new Bond and nobody knew Daniel Craig was the new Bond, I was like, it has to be Clive Owens.
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
Why is this a discussion? Have you watched the BMW film series? Like, Clive Owens is the new Bond.
We can't show them here, but on social media, you guys, we will put links to the BMW films, little shorts, because those are incredible.
They're great. Madonna was in one of those too, actually.
Yeah. Didn't one of them make us cry even?
Yeah, it made us cry, but it was awesome.
Okay, yeah. It might have gotten a little smoky in the room or something.
Yeah, no, they're great little short films. They're like BMW kind of advertisements that they did at a certain time. But I was like, he has to be the next Bond. Why is there any discussion? They went with Daniel Craig, and I get why they did because of the direction of the movies, with all the parkour type stuff. But I was like, I still kind of wish they'd gone with Clive Owens.
Well, in the first in Casino Royale, it's supposed to be like this is supposed to be like not a prequel to James Bond, but it's supposed to be like an origin story for James Bond, but modernized. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but you take one look at
Newer,
Daniel Craig.
darker, and edgier. Yeah.
Well, sure, but Daniel Craig is a little too old to be like playing the young Bond, so it was a little weird.
Yeah.
If you can ignore that, it doesn't just detract from the movie really, except for they keep saying, you're too young, you're too inexperienced, and I'm looking at this 45-year-old Daniel Craig like,
Yeah.
Are you sure?
You should have failed out of the SEALs already or whatever. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And then
aren't you a 4-star general
like
at this point?
movie and a half later, he's like, "Yeah, you're too old for this game. You're not fast enough anymore." It's like, dude, you just started. What do you mean? Like, it's been 4.5 years.
But to be fair, he got shot a bazillion times and fell off of a train into a river that carried him into the ocean, where he stumbled his way onto an island and drank it dry.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just like a Tuesday afternoon for a Bond movie, right? Like,
Hey, that's COVID-19 for you, baby.
yeah, I mean,
That's quarantine.
Pierce Brosnan literally like turned a rocket ice sled into like a parasailing thing and like went off of a glacier as it was falling into the ocean. Like, this is just Tuesday afternoon. In fact, the Daniel Craig stuff's a little mild for James Bond. Like, just getting shot and falling to the river, like anybody can do. I could get shot and fall in a river.
Yeah.
I can't parasail out of the hood of a rocket powered ice sled. I cannot do that.
This is also true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bond's not even impressive. Anybody can get shot and fall in a river off of a trestle, go 100 feet.
You know what? I'm not even sure how he gained so much altitude after going off of the edge of that ice shelf and then parachuting, and then it shot him like 1,000 feet in the air, and then he was able to parachute the 50 miles back.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Like I said, I can't do that.
It's only Bond.
Can't do it. And plus, he's getting chased by like a laser satellite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like,
yes.
I couldn't do that. And then you put me under the pressure of a space weapon trying to destroy me. I definitely can't do it.
Being controlled by a giant man who was the bad guy in Fast and the Furious, who now has diamonds embedded in his face. Like, you can't get any worse.
Yeah, with gene therapy to make him look Asian. Or wait, make him from Asian to Caucasian.
No, but failed. So all he has is the super crystal blue eyes, which I find kind of racist.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't. Yeah, possibly.
I'm just saying.
Not gonna argue with it. Yeah, I don't know.
Coy's speechless. Wow.
They're European. They can't be racist. That's how it works.
Nick, have you been showing them the Bond cars?
So what
the
is
DB5?
What is your
DB5.
favorite Bond car? Let's do that.
Ooh.
Not favorite. Which one do you like highly? Like, if you just throw out like, hey, you get to drive a Bond car tomorrow, you can shoot the guns. Which one you say? Just go.
Well, this one. I mean, the DB5 is hard for me to go away. In the new movie that's coming out, the actual 2021, in the trailer, it shows him popping miniguns out of the headlights and doing cookies down the street and just blasting people.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, but just for nostalgia's sake, I mean, this is an icon. It's the classic. It's the one that has the ejecto seat. You flip up the gear knob, hit the button, boom, it kicks you out the top. Like that for me, if someone says James Bond, that's what I picture in my mind.
See, I have two, both equally crazy. For me, it's the submarine, the Lotus.
Oh yeah,
the Lotus submobile.
The Esprit.
Yeah, it's an Esprit. Just cool. Like, a submarine car is awesome. It looks ridiculous. Like, I know. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like, that's awesome. That is just straight awesome. Obviously, it doesn't hold up well, but like, that's cool. Just for everybody, if you know what a Lotus Esprit looks like, it's like they put louvers over all the windows, and then there's like fender skirts with 4 giant shark fins sticking. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
You remember that
everything about it's bad, but
that
it's awesome.
80s cartoon where the guy would transform himself into a car? Imagine if he just got 3/4 of the way, transformed into a car, and stopped. That's what this looks like.
And then it has like a periscope snorkel thing on the left side. Yeah, it's horrible, but it's awesome. I believe actually Elon Musk owns this vehicle now.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a whole story about it. Like, it got like left in like a storage unit, and then like somebody bought the storage unit and had this and like didn't know what was going on. Some dude saw it and was like, hey, you got a Bond car. And it was like, this couple had it for an eternity, and then like 30 years later sold. They turned it back into a regular Esprit.
What?
Yeah, it's got like the wheels and stuff on it now, and then sold it to, I believe Elon Musk owns it now, and he paid him $20 million or something ridiculous for it. But
well, sure, it's not exactly going to lose its value though.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still a Bond car.
Guns and collector cars are a great place to put your money.
And the one that they had, like, obviously when they do back in the day, they didn't have all the CGI and stuff. They had 5 or 6 of these cars, and only one of them actually they drug underwater or whatever. The rest were in various states. to look kind of like it, and the one they had wasn't the fake one. It was still an actual Lotus, but it had the fin on the back and stuff.
The weird one, and I'm pretty sure I'm doing this off of the cuff, and so I don't remember exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure it was a Jensen Interceptor V8. It was in one of the 80s movies. That is a very cool car on paper. Like the engineering for it is very good, and it's a highly sought after car. It's kind of ugly though, so I'm not the biggest I'm not gonna. That's not my dream vehicle to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is another one that I think if somebody said, "Hey, I've got the Jensen Interceptor V8 from the Bond movie," yeah, I'll take it for a spin.
The other one I like is the once again, Die Another Day, the Invisible.
Oh yes,
and had the auto tracking miniguns and the ice traction spikes and DB7, I believe. Aston Martin DB7, which I wouldn't say that I always liked those cars. They had a kind of really original styling. When they first came out, they were just ultra aggressive and cool. And
I'm sorry to you listening to the audio podcast, because producer Nick just pulled up a photo that it kind of reminds me of the Wonder Woman Invisible Jet. It's got kind of that.
It reminds me of Megamind, where he has the invisible car and then he opens the door and so has a visible car and he's opening the door, leaning it out, and telling Holly Berry to jump in. Yeah.
Hey, I think it's just about time for Ryan Lackner to be calling in. Should we go ahead and get him on the horn?
Yeah, let's get him in here.
Yeah, go ahead and get him pulled up. Oh, audio only. Okay. Rylack.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man?
How's it going? Can you guys see me? Can you hear me?
We can only hear you, but that's okay. Hey, there he is.
We see him now.
There's your beautiful red beard up on green screen.
Yep.
Sitting in your race seat, leaned up against that hoopty.
Yeah. Total piece of crap.
Yeah. Multicolored. 2 out of 10. Jay-Z powered deuce.
Well, Ryan, we've had
useless. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we've had 2 episodes of the Clutch Kick Radio now, my friend. How are you feeling about it?
It's awesome. It's really crazy how once you get into the studio, how time disappears. It's like, I mean, you go in there and we start doing it, and then it's like, bam, hour and a half later, and you're like, whoa, where did all this time go? What's going on?
And this last episode that you did, you had Chris Egger call in, and then we had a surprise guest at the very end.
Yep. That was pretty awesome to get to hear from Chelsea Denofa, at least for a few minutes, and definitely going to have him on for another episode, for his own episode, obviously, at some point, hopefully in the near future. And we can get to seeing what's up with his drift school and kind of what's going on with the FD and everything, since obviously with all this quarantine, it's been everything crazy.
Do you think there are going to be any cars out there that people actually name, like the quarantine car?
I don't know. I've seen there's a few cars that have been wrapped that are like, there's some funny wraps coming out. I'm sure that at some point there's going to be something.
We still got to do the built by COVID-19 stickers.
I definitely would say there's definitely going to be some crazy builds that come out after this, because shops had downtime and they're like, we were always going to put this Jaguar V12 or it's something ridiculous, and then they just do it. It has to be. I'm just saying, like September, we're going to see some crazy COVID inspired builds.
Oh, most definitely. There's definitely guys that have been piling parts for years and years, and they're finally like, well, I got nothing better to do.
Yeah,
so
and they're like, well, I'm ordering a tube bender, and this is going to happen now. It's like it's on.
Thank you for that stimulus check. Yeah, this is going to
be and Trump Mobile in 5, 4.
Yeah, that's right.
3. Oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how Pat's Acres, there's a kind of a rhyme and a reason to why people love drifting that track. I can never put it as eloquently as you did, but remind us again, because Coy, earlier in the episode, he was like, you got to remind people that Pat's Acres is just a go-kart track, but for whatever reason, it has something special that the drifters find, right?
Oh, definitely. I feel like, especially when you watch the videos now of a little bit of like the newer track surface, it is quite a bit different because the corners are a lot wider now, to the extent of like some corners got widened like up to like 8 feet or more. And so it's interesting. I think sometimes when you see the camera angles, it makes the track look so much bigger than it actually is, because when you're actually out there on track and you quickly start to realize that your car is almost as wide as the track is in some points. When you're full lock sideways, it's about as wide as you are in a few spots. So and then not only that, you have all the crazy elevation changes throughout the corners, and it's crazy. You can't really tell standing on the side just looking at the track, but once you're on the track, it's just elevation changes and all of that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure to drive it in go-karts and in a couple cars, and it is a super fun track. And there's probably less go-kart tracks that do this kind of setup than there is actual tracks. I mean, honestly, in Oregon there are 2, and I think we're pretty special in that department that 2 actually do this.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, there's Park.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then there's was it Jackson Motor Park down in Medford, and then obviously we have 2 tracks as well, which isn't that much, but I think kind of, at least for me, it's kind of a danger thing. Like when you go on a go-kart track, you get all the feeling of a track at a little bit lessened pace. And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out and you do a hardcore track day, and first of all, there's a chance that somebody piles into you, especially with drifting. And I mean, and there's 90 mile an hour, 120 mile an hour sweepers. So just your cars has to be built completely different for that and set up completely different. And if you mess up, you could go into a wall, or you could catch the dirt and flip or whatever, which there's still all that danger in these go-kart tracks, but you can kind of keep it under 70 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like, like you can get all the track fun with a little less risk.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think another big thing is it makes tandems really fun, because if you start to fall back, or like, let's say you get scared because you don't want to hit your car, as me, because I tend to fall back a little bit because I don't want to wreck my car. So I'll tend to fall back, but it's really easy to catch back up to people because it is a go-kart track. So it has the nice sharp hairpins and stuff like that, to where I can just, stay on throttle for half a second longer than someone else, and I'll be right on their door, and just like that, And so it makes it. And not only that, you don't have to have like this thing here, like 450 horse. You don't have to have that. That's excess.
Yeah, it's a totally different build for
350.
each.
Like, you can go out there and have fun on that track all day long, and you're not going to blow through tires near as much as this thing does. But the new track surface is actually pretty crazy, because going from my 450 horse V8 to the 450 horse JZ, I ran the exact same tires at the exact same pressures with the exact same suspension underneath the car, and I went from 5.5, 6 laps at Park to 17 on one set of tires.
Whoa!
From old track surface to new track surface.
So the new track surface is slicker than the old track surface?
No, it's not slicker, but the
it's just smoother.
What is it, like the pebbles or whatever in the.
So the new one's like 1,000 grit, and the old one was like 150 grit.
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Smoother.
I don't remember the old track surface being chip seal, but that's about what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know what it must have been. I don't know, but I know that track surface is pretty old, so I'm sure it's. And then however many years of drifters beating on it, that doesn't help either. So.
Well, so if I'm a brand new, just total newbie, I spent my life savings on a 240, because 240s are $7,000 now for one that's not total garbage. I don't have any money left over for anything. Okay, I have money left over for an extra set of rims and an extra set of tires. So even though I've paid for a full day, I'm only going to drift for a couple of hours because my tires are going to be gone, most likely, if I can even get the thing to turn the tires over. It's got suspension, it's got a welded diff, but stock motor. Can I still go to Pat's Acres?
Just a KA?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're gonna go there, and you're not gonna use any tires. See, that's the thing. Like, so with the KA being 150 horsepower, yeah, you're going to be full throttle the whole track, and it's going to be more you pinned, and you're just going to be steering the car rather than, toying with the throttle and this and that, like keeping it sideways, because that thing doesn't have as much power. But you're going to be running like 15s or 14s on the rear at like 50 psi to 55 psi, whatever the max says on the tire. Just go ahead and put that in there, and then
add 5.
Just go out and have fun. Yeah.
Well, there'll
Make
be
sure you have
5
an
more in by the
e-brake that
time the heat
works,
gets into it.
and go out there and have fun. That is something very, very important about park is e-brakes. Like, it's doable without an e-brake. Can you do it? Yeah, absolutely. I've done it. Tons of other people have done it. But is it fun? No, it sucks, because that track, being the go-kart track it's just so much easier and funner to just be able to have the e-brake there to go into the corners and slow down for the hairpins, and it just really helps keep you sideways the whole track.
So as long as I've got some smaller-ish tires, something that locks up the rear a little bit, and an e-brake, I'm going to be good.
Absolutely. Come on, Andy. Do I need to mention the V6 automatic Mustang?
No, you don't.
Every time I have to mention it, but still, I mean, that guy blew me away. I had no idea for the longest time. I bet that guy was at maybe 4 or 5 events before I even knew that car was an automatic and it was a V6. I was just like, wow, because he's just out there killing it.
That's the one thing about cars. You do all this work to it to make it to do what you do, and then somebody's out there doing it in a Toyota Corolla, like without fail. Like, I mean, I got this built rig and I take it up to the trailhead and I'm going to go lake fishing, and then a Prius is driving down, like just picking his line. And I'm like, dude, I got 2.5-inch bypass shocks for this. What are you doing in a Prius? It's like same thing. You go to the track, there's always, you got all this work done, you've turbocharged, and then some dude in a stock Miata is just out there just tearing it up. It's like, well, I guess anybody can do this. Like,
I feel like anymore, because I was so much like you for the longest time, and I feel like anymore it's just all about it's more about what you want to do and how much fun you want to have. Because I'll tell you what, this 450 horse car sitting right here is a blast, and there's nothing like driving it. Even at park, it is insane. It's so much fun to drive. But is it needed? No. But it's fun. It's kind of the progression of the sport, and like the progression of where I'm at, I guess you could say, because going from competing with the 450 horse V8, I don't really feel like I want to step down in power, because I don't know. Yeah, it blows through a lot of tires and stuff, but it's a lot of fun.
You acclimate.
It's enjoy. And yeah, and at some point I plan on going to bigger tracks. So the 450 horse is going to be like right in that range where I need to be for, maybe tracks like ORP, things like that. I'll be able to, just.
Have you ran ORP?
Third gear. So
have you ran
I haven't,
ORP?
but I really want to.
So I know you think park has elevation change. Wait till you get to ORP.
Yeah.
Like, there is ridiculous elevation change, like steep downhills and steep uphills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
By the way, bring your own, everything, because Grass Valley right there is like 150 people.
Yeah, bring your own first aid kit. Maybe a neck brace.
Hey, man,
bring your own water.
That's why we got the box fan, though.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about the box fan is I don't have to play that game anymore. I roll my toolbox in, I roll all the tires in, I put the car in, I put all the spare parts in, like everything just goes inside, and we get to bring everything with us. That's the nicest thing about it. Because when I do a truck and trailer, I can't bring my toolbox, so I have to play this game of, okay, what am I bringing and what's too much,
Yeah.
And there's always stuff I don't have. But
well, I guarantee you,
box fan,
you should go do ORP. It's maybe you won't like it. It's possible. Some people don't like that track, but like, it's just for the experience. It's an unusual track. That's, I mean, it's got 3 or 4 corners that are weird for a track. I mean, I think it's called Valkyrie Hill or something. And I mean, it's a blind, like you're kind of coming uphill and it does a steep drop and immediately turns. So like you have to commit to that corner before you can see it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they call that pucker factor, I think is the name of that one, which drops down into a double half pipe, which it's in the bottom of a valley, and then it does a big kind of almost a 180 up each side of it, which just feels crazy.
That is probably the sketchiest corner on that whole track, but I also feel like I don't know about how it is for like you guys road racing, but I feel like for me drifting, that's going to be the most like fun like after I figure it out and it's not
The
so
half
sketchy
pipe
after I
or
do it, like
the-
once or twice. Yeah, the half pipe and the big steep over downhill. Like those are going to be the funnest corners to do
Oh yeah.
once I figure them out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, the double half pipe.
Because you're just going to huck it over that.
The double
hill.
half
It'll
pipe
just be
looks
nuts.
really cool. Isn't that fun for road racers? Because like you jump into it in the first couple laps, you're like, whoa, and you're up on the bank and you're each, whoa, and then you realize, oh, I can almost just drive straight. Like I can just do this just a little bit, whip back and forth, and just run over the rumple strip on the inside of each, and do it
So you
twice
kinda
as
just
fast.
prefer-
But if you're drifting, that's not the point of it. Those corners would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's called Pucker Factor. I can't remember where it's the blind drop off. For me, that one was like once I figured out how to do it, like because it comes up and your whole car kind of lifts, and right when you feel that, you turn and you just it is a unique sensation, and I love that corner. And you just have to commit to it exactly the same every time.
Well, but as far as the half pipe goes, Ryan has experience running the steep banks in Evergreen, so it's probably not going to be too different except for the transition, right?
I don't know, because I don't know if that's going to be more like the 3/8 or the 5/8, because I only ran the 3/8 bank. I never got to run the 5/8, so it could be a little steeper than the 3/8 is. I'm not sure.
I honestly, the way those banks are set up, I feel like you're gonna love it, and they kind of drive themselves. If you just, I hate to say that, but I mean the way it goes up and back down is just perfect. And if you just want to feel that up the hill and back, just that back and forth line, like you just go and you'll just do it. And I have no doubt that you'll have no problems with it.
It's going to be sweet, because I'm sure that it'll be kind of like the last corner park. You'll just throw it in there with a ton of speed, and once you get about halfway through, it'll probably start killing your speed and pushing you down anyways. As you're kind of getting back into throttle, it's going to push you down it.
Well, it's because it's uphill. You'll throw a ton of speed into it uphill, and about the time you're losing that speed, it's going back downhill, and you'll get back on it, and then so you got that momentum and the downhill. It's going to be a blast. You'll love that track.
Yeah, for sure. The other one that I'm pretty excited about is the Villains track. I've heard that track is pretty sweet.
That's in Washington.
Yeah, it's Walla Walla.
Okay, yeah, I've never been.
Oh, I know they're onions.
Well, it's a new track.
Well, I mean, I'm aware of Walla. They have good watermelon.
Anyone who's listened to the radio is. But have you guys seen that track at all? I think it was not last year. It was the year before it got built. That's the drift only track.
And what's it called again?
Well, it's a drift only track.
It's called Villains Sportland.
Producer Nick, can you pull that up for us? Villains Sportland.
They only allow drifting on the track?
Yes. So
Seems like they're
that guy,
only drifting in go-karts, obviously.
And go-karts.
No, I'm joking.
Oh. Well, it just seems like they're limiting their income.
Okay, I guess I wouldn't say there's only drifting, because I don't know for sure that there's only drifting, but I've only seen drifting there. So
let's get an aerial view, producer Nick. Yeah.
So they might do like road racing and stuff there too, because I'm sure the track would be decent for it, but I don't know with the way the K barriers are and all that stuff. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's unusual to hear something about like a track only does something, because they just want money. I mean,
that was the one that was drift funded. I mean, that was the one that they did the fundraiser and all that for, and they raised all that money. And like, I think a lot of people that bought different merchandise and stuff ended up there. Though that's kind of how they built the track, was off of funding like that.
Yeah, it must be brand new, because we're only seeing photos of people drifting on it, but not really too much of like
the track layout.
I think it is only drifting right now.
Huh, crazy.
That's crazy.
So it's at a drag strip. So the property,
aerial view, not anal view.
Has a drag strip there on the property, and then they leased out part of the property for them to build the drag or the drift track on.
We don't get to punk our producer enough, you know that? I just realized that. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
This is I don't know. This is an exciting time, because people are very excited to have an Oregon drifting radio podcast, video cast. Everybody seems very excited about it. Your shares are going way up. People are commenting and they're like, oh, holy crap, we've got a thing about drifting in Oregon. This is amazing, So your traction's just going to be absolutely immediate, and I really look forward to seeing where you take it. Now, we're not really working on a hard and fast schedule just yet. We're just putting some content out there first. But what can people expect from the next 3 weeks, and where can they find what you have going on?
Well, definitely we're going to have James Wickland on hopefully this next week. If not, I I've got a few other options in mind that we're going to look at. We're definitely trying to get Jessica and Brett on. They went to the quarantine event that just happened, so I really want to get them on to talk maybe in the next couple of weeks about that event that happened, because they got to drive at it.
Nice.
And then Nick Prouty, he's a BMW guy. He is pretty big in the community, and he's definitely one of the guys that's going to be going to Summer Jam, and so I'm hoping to have him on as well before that event.
Nice. And then we'll work our way into like Ryan Turk and Danny George and all them, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
All right, man. And where are you at?
Next,
you're at Clutch Kick Radio on Facebook and Instagram primarily right now, right?
Yep.
And then it's being put out across all of the Boost Booze and Barbecue channels on Thomas Creek Digital Media. So if you want to hear the podcasts, it's over at Spreaker/user/TCDM Radio, or you can just look up Clutch Kick Radio, D-Live, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all of the good stuff is where we're putting all that out. And you're welcoming fan submissions right now too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're glad to get anyone who wants to come on, talk about the show. We're definitely willing to see what you got, and we'll work you in the schedule where we can get anyone. So
I'm going to volunteer you a show topic. I want you, and this is, I think because of places like Park and stuff, it kind of canceled this culture. Dive into the old school street teams. Like some of these guys have families and are gone, but you can find these some of these old street teams before there were tracks to race at. Like some of these guys' stories and how drifting started before it was anime.
I was about to say the nostalgia
I would love
episode.
to dive into some of these Washington, Oregon, California street teams, and it's not a thing that guys do anymore. Just hear some of their stories and how they started drifting and how it got introduced to areas.
I definitely want to dig into all of that for sure. I think that's probably what I'm more excited about than anything. I know it's bad to say, but I really hope that all this grows the community. I hope that, maybe we could get another track venue or somewhere else so we can drift, maybe somewhere that's a little better for beginners that isn't Park. Now, beginners can go to Park. They can learn there.
It's nice to have a parking lot at a certain point,
It's not a big deal,
though.
but it's nice to have a parking lot sometimes. So, maybe we can get all that from this, but definitely I hope that it grows the community for sure, and that we can just get more people out there drifting and get more awareness about it all, and keep all this stuff going.
Awesome, man. Hey, we're glad to have you along for the ride. I'm glad that you are in the network, and I'm glad that we're kind of continuing this automotive theme. I love adding more car shows to the Thomas Creek Digital Media Network, so thanks for that.
Oh yeah, I know for sure the last few years I've been feeling like there's been a pretty big lack in like car content. Now, whether that's I think that's more just like a general statement. I just feel like there's not enough of it out there, especially the local stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in like our community, the drifting, the like real local stuff. There's just not enough people talking about it. So.
Yep. And there's only so much we can do with the Coy and Andy show. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to talking to you next week, and looking forward to the show next week.
Thank you.
Cheers, my friend.
Man.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, there he goes.
It's gone. Yeah, I would love to have any podcast dive into all the old street teams.
And Ryan's an OG. He's not quite as OG as we are.
Yeah, he was in there when teams were still a thing, and they're not. There are UC stickers of teams, but it was big in the early 2000s. I mean, 15 years ago, you were on a team or you weren't into cars. It was in this area, it was a big deal.
And then we made our team to make fun of the other teams, and then we started blowing people out of the water, and then we started a team. We became the very thing we vowed to destroy, Coy.
Yeah, you always see yourself a villain at the end,
No, that's true. Yeah, you either die a hero or live to see yourself become the...
Yeah, I sold my race car and became a dad, Yeah, no,
you're just
myself saying
you're embracing the bod. That's all you're doing.
I like to think of it as I'm a retired champ, but I'm going to come back out of retirement.
Yeah.
I beat everybody in my 20s. As I get towards 40, I'm going to come back out.
Sure.
I'm going to dust off the old leather jacket, start smoking, Well, lean up against my car.
Does Mario Andretti look like a spring chicken?
No.
Are you going to outdrive him?
No.
Well, there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Mario Andretti, all 5'4" of him, leans up against any car and lights a cigarette, I'm like, nope, not racing. No. Do you see that leather jacket? It has a stripe from the shoulder down the backside, and there's a zipper on the cup. He's fast. I can tell.
That stripe is about 18 inches long, but still.
Yeah, no, I mean, that little T-Rex arms, like, yeah.
They're shorter because they move faster.
Yeah. He's got 2 chicks with him.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. The same thing could be said of, speaking of drifting, the Drift King, Kaiichi Tsuchiya. And I screwed his name up.
See, I don't know if he actually has the chicks with him. He shows up to the race and then starts chasing like the track girls around. Like he's like, oh, there's Toyota Air girls here, and just starts running after them.
That might be part of it. I think you can tell the ones that know him and then the ones that know of him, because the ones that know him are running away from him and the ones that know of him are chasing after him.
Yeah, he definitely I don't know if he's that way in real life, but like in video, he embraces creepy old guy to the max.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, man,
if he's at a diner, he's spanking somebody, you know. Like
but he's very well known, so you can kind of get away with stuff like that.
I hope he does. Like, he's creepy old Japanese dude, like, that can drive, man.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where when you're that creepy, you kind of just get to do...
You earn it at a certain point. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of earning it, Coy, we're about to wrap this thing down. I got to talk a little bit about this bourbon first, though, because...
I haven't tried it yet. I poured myself some. I'm going to get in right now.
This is actually one of my favorites. I had the grandson of Clyde May on the phone one time. LC May. So Clyde May's straight bourbon whiskey it's made in kind of an older style.
It's very mild.
Yeah, it's very mild, but it is 46% alcohol.
I mean, flavor wise, it's very mild. I mean, I've got mine on a kind of a melting ice cube here, but
it's a real sipper. He's thinking
it's definitely got some butter on the nose there, and just a real mild, real mild across the palate.
So if somebody brought you a bottle of this to a house party, you're not going to turn it away.
No, this tastes fine. It's like I said, it's mild. Like I'm getting a lot of, like, a real buttery across the nose there, and it's just real mild on the palate, and then an easy finish. Like there's not much heat either.
I'm wanting to show this to Nick the Whiskey Hunter. It's not a rare bourbon. It's not like you can't pick it up off of the shelves. You can get it anywhere. It's everywhere. But I don't know that he's had it. He didn't really recognize the name Clyde Mays, so it'll be interesting to get him a little bit of that. You've been doing some whiskey hunting, haven't you?
I've been trying.
Yeah.
Not successfully, though.
What was that rum that you found? You don't have to give it away. I mean, I don't want people running out and getting it from you, but...
Oh, what's the name of it? It's Papa something. Ernest Hemingway's, like, line of rums.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know that it's not really expensive, but it is hard to find one, the aged one they sell. The other one was Blood Oath. They make a new batch every year, and it's kind of limited. And I mean, it's like $100 a bottle, but it comes in like a wood box. It's burnt, really cool looking, real decorative. And the one I was looking at was a Pack 5. They started at Pack 1. Pack 6 is 2020. So Pack 5 was 2019's. I found one, but the liquor store is like, no, we don't have it. I'm like, yes, you do. So they're hiding it, and they're kind of out of my way. So I don't know if I want to drive back in there and like throw a real big fit, but
for sure
they definitely have it. They just won't give it to me.
So $100, not exactly cheap, but it's not the most expensive thing ever. But because of like the box and everything, you can kind of ball on a budget.
You can, and if you're into collecting it, I've looked, like Pack 1's like $700.
Oh yeah,
like no, I mean they are all going up in value. And 2020 is already, because of COVID and stuff, I think already sold out the Pack 6. So
wow,
there are still some Pack 5s to be found, and each one's different, So yeah, it's just, and it's, a lot of guys are trying to collect all 6 and get this whole Blood Oath Pact whatever collection. So,
well, man, get the bottle, bring it here. We can just go ahead and kill that thing off in one episode.
Here's what we do. This could be worth a ton of money someday. Open it. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds good to me, brother. Hey, thank you for doing it, as always, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Boom. Producer Nick, thank you, my friend. Ryan Lackner, thank you for coming on. And of course, you guys at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. You really are the only thing that can keep us going through this. So we appreciate that. Please do like, comment, share. We always want to hear from you guys. And until next time, this is Andy for Coy, producer Nick, and Ryan. And keep the rubber on the road.